G'day. I'm Lola Berry, nutritionist, author, actor, TV presenter and professional oversharer. This podcast is all about celebrating failure because I believe it's a chance for us to learn, grow and face our blind spots. Each week I'll interview a different guest about their highs as well as their lows, all in a bid to inspire us to fearlessly fail. Pip Cowley, welcome to the Potteroonie. I feel like we've been talking about this for a little while now.
Yeah, we have. I think it's been a couple of months maybe.
Yeah, but you've been on my radar for longer, for a couple of years, I want to say.
That's nice.
So
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, my friend. You are an incredible photographer. You're a creative director. And I didn't know this until I started researching you. You're also like a film director as well. Like you've done some epic shorts.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. The directing side of things kicked off during the pandemic, actually.
Really?
So, yeah, I've traditionally been a commercial photographer for years, and then a really good friend of mine, John, said to me, hey, I think you'd actually be a great director. Would you want to start directing a few things? And I was like, a bit nervous at first. And so it took a little while to get some confidence. But, I directed a couple of shorts during the pandemic and after that, and then moved into directing commercials as well, music videos.
I was going to say, so your career has been a really fun one to unpack. I did not know, well, I know because we've had dinner, but started at Channel V.
Yeah.
So you're a full music journalist and then in charge of creating content. So you were literally shooting stuff yourself on the fly.
Totally.
Is that kind of where you initially cut your teeth?
Yeah, I started off at Pacific Magazines on the kids' titles.
Yeah.
So I did produce a lot of the online content for them. And then I was photographing music festivals on the side. It was just something I loved doing. And a good friend of mine said to me one day, she's like, listen, I think there might be a job going at Channel V. Would you ever want to work there? I was like, yeah, that would be a dream job for me. And so I was at Splendor in the Grass with Marie Claire. I was taking photos of fashions on the field kind of vibe.
That sounds awesome.
It was, it was so much fun. It was really just an excuse for my friend Kate and I, who was on the editorial team there, to go to Splendor. So, which is, a big music festival in Australia. Anyway, I got a call up from one of the editors from Channel V saying hey, our photographer and journalist fell through for the festival. Would you want to shoot it and write a story on it for us? And so I said, yes, absolutely. And then, a few days later I had a job interview and got the job and it went from there.
Holy mac. So you've always been a muso head, right? This is kind of I feel like that's been as far as photography with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The music was kind of such a huge part of how you begun, because you did 2.5 years at Channel V, right?
Yeah. 2.5 or 3 years, something like that. Yeah.
And then cut to New York.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Yeah. So I'd been at Channel V for a few years and I could see that format was really on its way out with things like Netflix and YouTube. Yeah. So I thought, where can I go next? Given it felt like there was a ceiling that had been reached in Australia in that industry. So, moved out to New York. I didn't have a job. I knew not very many people. And, I just started shooting music videos and things like that from a stills point of view. And then I was interviewing for music journalism roles, but discovered that the salaries weren't very good. And it's, you need a solid salary in New York to survive there. And then I met some guys through mutual friends at a party and they're like, do you need a job? And I was like, yeah, I really need a job. And they're like, would you work in advertising? And I was like, well, I studied advertising. So,
great.
Great. So I had an interview with a big ad agency called Anomaly as an art director. And, I got the job. And so that kicked off my career in New York. But, from a commercial point of view. So I switched over from music industry into advertising. Yeah.
I have to ask, because obviously you're a Los Angeles girl now.
Yeah.
Do you miss New York sometimes?
Yeah, of course. I still think it's the best city in the world.
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you, Pete.
yeah, it's such a melting pot for culture, and just like the restaurant scene is so great there. It's spontaneous. You could message a friend and be like, hey, in 15 minutes, do you want to go and meet at a bar? And they're like, yeah, sure. And you
Oh,
just
my
jump on the
goodness.
subway. So
Here's my theory about you, though. I think you are like you're very hardworking, and you definitely do like plan, and like you're traveling every second day, it feels.
yeah.
But there's like a spontaneity to you, and I feel like, and we've talked about this before, but like jobs can come from just like a random meeting or
Totally.
being out at an event and meeting someone and they're like, oh, actually, you're perfect for what I need. And has that happened to you?
Yeah, it happens all the time. A lot of my work comes from word of mouth, but there are these like very spontaneous meets where you meet someone out at a restaurant or a bar or something. They're like, actually, I'm looking for a photographer.
Perfect.
Yeah, it happened recently with a new client that I've just brought on. She's Australian. She's a creative director. And she just moved into a new role. She's like, oh, we need photographers. And so I'm kicking off that project soon. And that was just a completely random meet.
Well, I'm very excited about that one because selfishly that's near my house. So we get to hang more when you do that. When you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, it's been such a dream to deep dive some of the incredible human beings that you've shot.
Right, yeah.
So like even like as soon as I go to your website, Mark Ronson, that photo, and is it in his studio?
Yeah, it was in his studio in New York, in Soho. And that was such an incredible experience for me because I've admired him for a long time. Like I'm a fan of his music.
Yeah.
And so getting to be in the studio where he recorded with Amy Winehouse and he produced Back to Black there, like that was really special for me as a music fan.
Yeah.
And it was a project for BBC for their Maestro series.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a masterclass with Mark Ronson. And listening to him share all these stories about his process and working with these phenomenal artists, you know, I was like a little kid in a candy store. I just kept my ears open the whole time.
So were you essentially shooting stills for the whole time he was filming his masterclass?
Yeah, exactly.
Living the dream there.
Yeah, it was fun because, I was shooting while they were filming and then we did some portraits for the key art as well.
Yeah.
So
it's such a good snap. That snap on your website, I'm like, I was actually, when I was researching you, Matt's like, that's sick. Because Matt's like full muso as well.
Yeah.
So
that was
good.
It was fun because I'd captured him over the years as well. So it wasn't the first time I'd like interacted with him, and he's such a humble guy and he's done so much. Like he really has progressed so much throughout his career, and then obviously recently doing the music for Barbie was just
oh my goodness,
huge. So
goodness.
He does seem like someone who's just remained humble the whole time.
I love those stories so much. Now, speaking of humble, that is you, my friend. But but like, so you've got this incredible plethora of work from commercial. I feel like you like definitely the music, but also there's this like athletic side to the way you shoot, like all the Lululemon stuff. Am I allowed to say Nike?
Yeah,
yeah. Like you're doing a lot of that, like I imagine, like very specific.
Yeah.
Especially with athletes or like, is that what it is? Does it sit in that kind of space?
Yeah, totally. I started moving into some of the sports side of things a few years ago. I love capturing movement. And I'm sure you saw that in my work. Like, I'm really a big fan of dance and capturing dance as well. But the athletic work has sort of been a dream for me because I've always wanted to work with brands like Nike, Lululemon. And so, an opportunity came up last year to shoot the US track and field trials for the Olympics for Nike. Yeah.
Were you just like, holy mac?
Yeah, pinch myself moment for sure. It was just, those jobs are the dream jobs. And so I've worked with them from like a creative perspective for one of their agencies. And so it was a just like natural progression. They're like, actually, do you want to shoot this as well? So And so working with athletes is just, it's a whole nother level because, sometimes you have control over like, you're able to direct, and then other times like the trials, you have no control over like the scene. And so you're really trying to find those moments. Like you're really watching body language and trying to pick off like the most sort of like energetic moments in whether they're running or they're doing pole vault or or finding something very graphic.
Yeah.
So
I'd never even really thought about it before, but I imagine a big part of your job is being super aware of human behavior.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
when people are relaxed. If you're like talking about marketing studio, you know what I mean?
For
like
sure.
You want people to get the best shot. You're either going to want them relaxed or be like in that kind of like movement space, be able to like preempt where that like magic moment is going to be. And so you must have to be like super sharp when it comes to human behavior and like reading the play ahead of time. Does it kind of feel like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think starting off in the music world really helped me refine those skills and build on those, because same thing, you don't have any control over the way an artist performs on stage or the way they move. So you start to look for little moments. So say, you're watching Coldplay, for example, and you know that Chris Martin is going to do some big epic jump at some point during the set. So you start to study these artists and the way they move. And so I look for the cues where Chris Martin's about to run and then take a leap, and just making sure you're trying to be in the right place at the right time to capture the best angle of it.
And you're not just giving a hypothetical there. You've literally shot Coldplay, right?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun.
Amazing. And having seen a Coldplay concert before, I can only imagine, because he's got so much energy. He's like a little kid.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, they're such a fun band to watch, and I've been really lucky. I've been able to capture them throughout the years, and Chris Martin is heavily involved with a nonprofit that I work with called Global Citizen, and so I've had the pleasure of working with him on that festival and capturing him at the festival as well. So, it's a lot of fun to be around.
When you're working, so you've mentioned Global Citizen to me a little bit. So when you're working around a non-for-profit, do you find that people are really willing to kind of be like, work with you and kind of like it's all for a greater purpose kind of thing?
Yeah.
I imagine it's a different energy to being like, all right, we're on a set. We've got to do these shots by end of day. Like,
exactly.
Versus everyone kind of like banding together and being like, we want to help, Yeah,
exactly. It's such a beautiful atmosphere. Really, like, it truly is such a like warm, welcoming environment, which is nice. So, it's such a playground to be in that environment too, capturing like the different artists and the hosts that they have. Someone like Hugh Jackman, for example, he's been involved for years, and he's one of the main hosts of the show. He's been such a pleasure to shoot with.
He'd be a joy, wouldn't he?
Yeah, total joy. Yeah. Just like such a lovely guy, and really genuinely wants to help. And so, it is. It's nice being in that environment where I think the guard is down a little bit because they're just there for the cause versus like promoting a film or something like that.
Do you mind me asking, like in a nutshell, what the cause is about?
Yeah. So Global Citizen's whole purpose is to defeat extreme poverty. The goal has been to do that by 2030, but, with everything that's going on politically, it feels like a bit of a moving target.
Yeah.
So, but it was founded by some Australians who are awesome. Hugh Evans is the CEO. He's a good friend of mine. And it's really incredible to see these people really fight to try and help, defeat poverty and improve, really like work for a better future for the planet. So
is that not to like, and I love that you're sharing about this, but I have to ask just because I'm selfishly obsessed with Steve Colbert. Is that how you shot one of my faves?
Yeah,
you shot him a few times though, haven't you?
Yeah, so he's been a host at the festival and had stage moments. So I have captured him at the festival, and he does seem like a very genuinely nice guy.
Oh, stop. He's my gold star.
I know. So and I worked on a project with Global Citizen called One World Together at Home. It was a big campaign to get people to stay at home during the pandemic and practice social distancing, things like that. So he was one of the hosts with like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel.
All the greats.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, on some of these things, you have like limited interactions, and there's a talent team that handle all of that. But
still fun energy to be in, and
totally,
like you said, like such a beautiful cause.
Yeah,
and you're all kind of like, I don't know, it just feels like this. I think when artists come together, like that's when you can move the needle.
Yeah,
and I think if you're capturing those moments, they're like beautiful pockets of time as well that you never really get back.
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, it was a project that just came on very quickly because, you know, it was the start of the pandemic and Global Citizen were like, okay, what can we do to help? And they had partnered up with World Health Organization and Chris Martin wanted to get involved. So he was the first cab off the rank. And the idea was that it was just a very like lo-fi kind of acoustic performance in his living room or his studio at home. And the idea was sort of to pass the baton on to the next artist and just encourage like people to stay at home. So, you know, it was just very much like we're all in this together.
Yeah.
So,
oh mate,
yeah,
it
was fun. Yeah, it was, and like figuring out how to make it all work. It was just like, okay, the artists are just like setting up their phone and recording into it, which I think made it really intimate.
Yeah,
and
completely. You're in their like private space.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm sure it feels like for you sometimes when you're on a gig, or if you're shooting in someone's like studio or at home. But like we as like the regular people don't really get to see that, you know?
Yeah, it is special.
So also, I have to ask this because I know you're a mega fan of the US Open. You've also shot the US Open, haven't you?
Yeah. So
is that insane? Well, like you're pinching yourself like, hang on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I played tennis since I was a little kid.
Yeah, and it's very Aussie. Me too.
Totally. You know, it was my tennis coach that gave me the nickname Pip. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but it was absolutely a dream to go and shoot the US Open. I got the call up last year to go and do basically the whole event. So I was there for 2 weeks. I was predominantly there capturing all the celebrities that were coming in on the blue carpet. But yeah, with my obsession with tennis, I would go in early and photograph the games. And yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so like I know and I deep dived you, my friend. I found your Tumblr page.
Oh my God, stop it. I still have a Tumblr.
You do. Well, it's still out there in the ether.
Oh boy. But
I have to ask, like, with such a beautiful and celebrated career, and like we have just like scratched the surface as far as like you've also shot Taylor Swift.
Yes.
And Travis Kelce.
Yes. Yeah.
And like one of my personal faves, Jason Bateman, but Prince William. I'm just like, holy mac. So like of all of that, like I'm sure like you've got a mazillion stories, but is there a story where you're like, how am I living this reality right now?
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot. Essentially, I'm like, do I go into Taylor Swift and the Grammys?
Yes, I love that story. Do Tay Tay and the Grammys.
Sure.
That's a goodie.
Yeah, so I got the call up to shoot the Grammys a couple of years ago, and that was an absolute dream for me.
Especially music, being a music head.
Yeah, exactly. A friend of mine is the director of the show, and there's another photographer that he's worked with for years who I adored, Terrence Patrick, who normally shoots it, and he couldn't do it that year. And they're like, hey, do you want to come on and shoot the Grammys? I'm like, yeah. Absolutely. 100%. I definitely want to do that. And so, yeah, it was such an incredible experience. I got to be there for the rehearsals, and it was the 50 years of hip hop celebration. And then, you know, cut to the night of, and I just, you know, got to roam around the floor, and you've got all the artist tables, and it's a feast for the eyes for anyone who loves music. And it wasn't really like Taylor Swift's year that year. It was Beyonce's year. She ended up winning the most Grammys of all time. So all eyes were on her. And so Taylor was like, kind of at her table, and she kept calling me over. She's like, come here, come and photograph me. And so, yeah, I kept going over to her table throughout the night, and she's just very bubbly and warm, and yeah, I was just loving it. So,
oh my
goodness.
goodness.
It was fun. It's like nice having those interactions
Yeah.
with artists who like genuinely want you to be there and capture them. And
what do you think made her draw to you? Like, were you the only female on like photographer? Like, what do you think that was?
I think so. Yeah, I really was the only female photographer sort of roaming the floor.
Yeah.
There were really just three of us who were able to kind of capture the tables. And so, yeah, I do think
Aussie,
maybe,
the accent.
Yeah, I think maybe because I was the only female, I did feel like a lot of the female artists kept calling me over to them.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it was nice. And I had a moment where I had a really like a gut feeling that Beyonce was about to win an award.
Yeah.
And so I positioned myself in an area where I was like, okay, I think if I stand here, I might be able to be the first photographer to capture some portraits of her after she's won the award. So I did it. I got there, and then Lizzo and Adele were there congratulating her. So I got the sort of first portrait of the ladies together, and it just, it felt good. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I think also if you go back to like Channel V and you were like, oh my God, this is my dream job.
Yeah.
Cut to literally at the Grammys.
You're right. Yeah.
Like Beyonce, Lizzo, Adele, Taylor, like that's wild.
I know. Yeah, it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, wow, this is absolutely a dream come true for me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I mean, there are young creatives that listen to this podcast, and I always like to ask someone that's creative that's like out there kind of like making a go of it.
Yeah.
What advice do you have to someone that they might have a creative dream, whether it's like writing, directing, photography, acting, whatever?
Yeah,
it can all feel really daunting at the start, especially Australia versus America. Like there is that whole like picture as well. But like
totally.
What advice do you have for a creative?
Yeah, so I think you've really got to be persistent. That's one of the main things. And also go out there, and if you're a photographer, for example, or you're wanting to direct, like go out and shoot your passion projects. Yeah, I really think that's key. Like when I think creative directors and art directors are looking for photographers, directors, they really want to see those personal projects because they want to see how you see the world through your lens.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main thing. And then outreach, like don't be afraid to reach out to people that you want to work with.
Which is so scary as an Aussie. I think that's the thing I'm learning. The more that I interview Aussies here in America that have made it.
Yeah.
They usually give that advice of like, don't be afraid of asking. Don't be afraid of reaching out to someone you want to work with. Don't like, because the work, it's literally until you ask, it's going to be a no. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
Like, you have to be like, and it's like scary. It takes a bit of courage because it's not necessarily the Aussie way. We kind of sit back a bit and.
Yeah, we do. And that's actually how I got my first internship in New York. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I lived in New York when I was 21 for about 5 months. And when I was in my final year at university, there was a scholarship program to do an internship in New York, and applied for it, didn't get it. So I wrote to 50 different ad agencies in New York. And it was like, will anyone, trying to get an internship. Yeah. And one wrote back.
1 out of 50?
One wrote back.
Wow.
And they said, yeah, we'd love to have you. And so, and it was not an ad agency, but it was the International Advertising Association.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it gave me access to working on a lot of events with like professionals in the industry. So it just helped me kind of build a network that eventually I moved back to New York and had some of those contacts already.
Oh my goodness, good on you at 21.
Yeah.
That's some courage, mate.
Yeah.
So some days I find like living in America, like, oh my goodness, this is the best. And there's so much opportunity. And like you and me were hanging out a few weeks ago at a SAG screening, literally in the SAG building. Like there are those moments where you're like, oh, this is unreal.
Yeah.
But then there are also moments, especially in like actor world, you'll be auditioning.
Yeah,
and you don't get feedback. You literally just get donuts. Like there is no response.
Of course.
And it might not be that your tape's bad. It might just be that they need a blonde and you're not blonde or whatever it is.
Yeah, of course. You used to be blonde.
I did. I will go back there one day. I guess my question is like, how do you navigate those days where, because I always say LA is a beautiful but brutal beast.
Totally. Yeah.
And how do you navigate those days that feel a little bit more on the more brutal of sides as opposed to the beautiful of sides?
It's a tough one because you might go for a few weeks or a month or so without like hearing about the next job.
Yeah.
And so, sitting in that silence can be really rough. So I think really it's like having the support of your friends and family, and I think reaching out to other people who work in a similar field. Like, I'm not sure if you have like actor friends that you reach out to, and if you're like, oh, I just had a really bad audition, like, can we chat? I think it's just, keeping close with your friends and making sure that you know, talk to them and say, hey, I'm like having a hard time, and, you know, they'll help boost you up and say, it's okay, job's going to come soon. So
having that like network around you that,
I think
that
so.
is like, you got this, it's okay.
Yeah.
I also think having a combination of Americans and Aussies around you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the Aussies know how hard it is to like just physically get here on a like visa kind of picture. So that's one hurdle.
Yes, for sure.
And so they know that even just being here and sitting and having a $12 coffee is like a feat.
It's a riot.
Right. But it's like that's like a win in and of itself.
Totally.
And so my next question off the back of this is, you live a very fast-paced life. You are go, go, go. Yeah. Like, you were on a different time zone, 4 days ago?
Yeah, I was.
You were in Australia. And I literally wrote to you when you got back. I was like, do you need to move this pod? Like, you're probably going to be feeling jet lagged. And you were like, oh, let me get back to you tomorrow. And you're like, no, we're good. Friday's good. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. So you've got this incredible ability to kind of like keep that momentum and keep going. Yeah. But how do you stay grounded when you're like flying here, flying there, or you know, you've been working here all morning before this pod? Like, what are one of your practices for staying grounded? I know you love the ocean and you're near all of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think there are a few things, and it's trying to find some sort of routine when I'm freelancing, and which can be difficult. But yeah, some of the things are, I mean, I have a dog.
I knew this was going to come up.
Little Ziggy man. And so, taking him for walks on the beach, that's a big one for me. Meditation.
You meditate? I didn't know you meditated.
Yeah, I fall in and out of practice of it. I wouldn't say I'm like very consistent, but I know on the days that I do meditate, I feel really grounded and focused. So I know it's something that is really good, for keeping me grounded. It's just reminding myself to continue that practice. And then I also love like high intensity interval training. So
do you now?
Yeah, I do. Love my berries. Yeah.
How good.
So I try and go to a couple of berries boot camp classes.
In your body.
Yeah, exactly. I think like movement really helps.
Do you miss Australia?
Yeah,
I mean, I know you just got back.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's so hard not to. Like, I still think Australia is the most beautiful country in the world.
Agreed.
Yeah, exactly. My family are there. A lot of my closest friends are still there. I have an adorable niece and nephew who I love spending time with. So, yeah, it is hard having that distance, but I think having things like FaceTime makes it so much easier than what it used to be.
Totally.
So, yeah, you can kind of keep in touch, and it's certainly a much shorter flight from LA to Sydney than New York to Sydney. So I think having it just be one flight instead of two is much nicer.
Agreed. Yeah. It definitely makes it like you do know if something happened and you needed to get to Australia quickly, you just know, okay, that's a night flight. We're back. As opposed to a, 30-hour situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and also I miss the beaches there. Do you miss the beach there?
We went to Laguna Beach here the other day and I was like, and I just put my feet in the ocean.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is great. Like,
it is.
I forget how much, because also home for us is Byron Bay. So I forget how much we miss the ocean. And you've touched on this already, but like, and because LA is a very opportunity, go, go, go. Everyone's got a pitch. Everyone's got something they're working on.
For sure.
Everyone's like, which is really fun energy to be in.
Yeah, of course.
There's a flip side to that energy too, where there's a lot of like fluff.
Yeah, there's a lot of hot air in LA.
Yeah. And so like, how do you like navigate and find the real buds amongst that? Because like, I know when you and I caught up, I was like, oh, what a breath of fresh air. You know, you like,
that's nice.
and but I think it's also like mutual friends recommended they're like, you two would get on like a house on fire.
They did. They were right.
They were. Thank you, friends. But how important to you is like real buds, and I know you've got some like real mates that are Aussies that live here that also have those kind of like lives where it's that freelance-esque, kind of like what you're saying, have that community around you.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do you navigate the fluff and how do you like find the real ones?
I think I have a pretty good radar for it at this point because I certainly come across all kinds of personalities in my work, and I think you know who your real friends are.
Totally.
And it's it's the people where there's the two-way communication. So it just feels easy and natural. I think that's how to get around it. I don't know. I think I have a high bullshit radar. Yeah,
and I also think it comes back to what you were saying at the start when you were talking about photographing athletes, that like being aware of human behavior.
Totally.
So I think you're probably good at sitting in a room and being like, yeah, I got a pretty good read of what's going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
of course.
A superpower.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, like we get it wrong and but
that's part of growing up.
Exactly. We need those lessons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it is, reading body language and tone and communication, things like that. So but I feel really lucky because I've got such a great group of Australian friends here, but I've also made amazing American friends too, and they've been such a huge support network. So I feel very grateful for my American friends too.
Yeah, you got a good combo.
Yeah, a really nice crew.
I could talk to you all day long. Can you believe how quickly this has gone?
Oh
Isn't it wild? I know. It's just like you and me having a little vino.
I know. We should.
I know. What time is it? So my final question is for you, and share whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Sure.
But like, I know you've got some exciting stuff on the horizon for you that you're working on.
Yes.
What are you comfortable sharing around that? And two, is a part of it scary? Because I know it's a little bit different from what you've been doing.
Yeah. So I think you're tapping into the screenplay. I am.
I didn't want to push you too far.
No, it's all right. It's something that I've been thinking about for a while, and an idea that I've had in the back of my mind. So, I would love to move into screenwriting as, a long-term career option, but it's super daunting, and there are so many great writers out there. Who knows if I'm one of them or not? I just think it's a really fun creative challenge, and it's totally daunting, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm watching different films, and I have friends who are screenwriters, and I've been doing workshops with them on a particular script.
How good!
Yeah, it's fun. I think it is just that excitement of a new challenge.
So what I do love about being here, you can be an incredible photographer and creative director and a screenwriter. Like, why can't we do it all?
Yeah.
So I do like that feeling of like, you can be a podcaster and an actor. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I love that we can, the like slashy life is celebrated here in America.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because when I first moved to New York, it wasn't celebrated.
Really?
It was like you have one lane, stay in your lane.
Really?
And then it was opening up my colleagues the idea of like, oh, I'm an art director, but I can shoot as well. Would you give me a go? And so, I do think it took a minute to like open people up to that idea. But
really,
LA very much has that kind of slashy culture.
To pay rent, you got to be a slashy, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, completely. But I also just think it keeps things interesting as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm someone that loves working on different projects. Keeping the creative muscle going and diving into different topics. So.
If you're between gigs, what do you do to stay creative? Is it right?
Yeah, the writing has been a big thing for me this year. Yeah, so working on the screenplay and drafting that out, thinking about different scenes, and trying to figure out like the comedy aspect.
Yeah.
So that's been really fun. And then I certainly try and brainstorm ideas for my own photo shoots and short films and things like that. So that's a part of it for sure.
And from what you did give me a little taste of what you've been writing. Very funny, my friend. Very funny.
Thanks.
So I'm glad that we've got a little bit of that here on the pod because I can't wait to see, what unfolds for you next.
Thank you.
Checking in and just being like, oh my God, like I'm so excited for you.
Thanks. Oh.
Thanks for doing the pod.
Oh my gosh,
you nailed it.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, mate, you nailed it. Welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Pip.
Thanks.
That's a wrap on another episode of Fearlessly Failing. As always, thank you to our guests. And let's continue the conversation on Instagram. I'm at Yummo Lolaberry. This poddy, my word for podcast, is available on all streaming platforms. I'd love it if you could subscribe, rate and comment. And of course, spread the love.